So you've hopefully encouraged the entire theater to start playing more. Um, how do you want them to? Would you suggest they start playing?
Well, I offered a few simple, everyday ways to play. I guess I hope that people look up and look around more frequently, and kind of like think about the strangers walking by them and ways to break through those boundaries. So moments that I think of are like meetings, or when you're waiting in line at a grocery store, or waiting in line anywhere, or driving your car, waiting at a stoplight. So just a lot of those in-between moments that you think are kind of boring that could actually be fun opportunities to connect to somebody.
And how do you think the world would be different if nobody let go of play?
You know, I was thinking this morning about all these play activities that we call kids activities, like a pillow fight is a kid thing, and building sandcastles is a kid thing, but it doesn't have to be. I think that we just decided that we're too serious for that as adults. I think we'd have a kinder world if people played, because play kind of forces people together a little bit more. I think people would be more empowered to be less fearful if they played more. I think we'd be more creative as people. I think we'd probably also be healthier. And I think of well-being as a full thing, like mind, body, and spirit. Like pillow fighting, that's a workout. So I think there's something there too, where just like all the parts of ourselves are a little bit more awake when we play. And I think that could have positive well-being effects. And just when I play, I feel so much happier. I stop worrying. I get out of my head where I've been like thinking through something over and over, and I just kind of feel it, and suddenly things make a lot more sense.
So yeah, you make a good point. So I was like, oh, I need a child for an excuse to go to this child's activity, but you would just say go anyway.
Yes, you should go anyway. And there are a lot of these like recommendations to do weekly practices. Maybe you should meditate every week, or maybe you should get exercise every day. I think you should play every day in some small way. So even if that just means like in your kitchen alone, you just kind of get weird and like start dancing, or you make a point to smile at a stranger every day, or introduce yourself to somebody that you don't know, or draw a funny picture on the whiteboard at work so that your coworkers get to laugh. One little thing a day, I think, could make a lot of change if everyone did it.
Yeah. Do you think you had that impact? Did you feel like your audience was with you, that they're going to come out and play more?
Well, the audience really laughed. They seemed to have fun with it. And I think the talk felt playful to me, and it seemed like it felt playful, and people were kind of like lightening up a little bit. And I'm really happy that the talk felt like play. That mix-up was actually maybe intentional. That the play instead of the talk, that it felt like fun. So that's really what I wanted, and it seemed like they were on board. I think play can be really scary for people. My husband is really introverted, so he helps to remind me that, and he was kind of coaching me through my talk, like, not everybody is going to want to run around in their underwear, that's not a ton of people. But it's not so much, and as I said in my talk, it's not so much the activity as it is the state of being and the way of engaging with the world. So that idea of like, I'm actually going to look up at you rather than looking down at my phone all day, and try to find this way that maybe we can connect to each other that's actually kind of fun and doesn't feel forced. Yeah.
And how did you get to that view of the world and that opinion? What made you embrace play?
So this question about why do I play actually was asked to me at my first practice session, and it would have been so great to include in my talk, but there's not really like a moment that I remember. I've kind of always been this way, and I think some of it maybe has to do with my mom. My mom is really like bubbly and loves to talk to random people and has a lot of love to give. So I think it's partially my mom, maybe also partially growing up in a really like multicultural setting where my dad's from India, my mother's family is really like Irish Catholic, very different cultures and very different ethnicities. So being around this space where there was always something new, like nothing was ever really constant or known, and like, oh, even my own identity was new and different and surprising to people around me, and being involved in like really big families all the time. Both my parents are one of 10. So just being in these settings where there's a lot of people, everything's always changing, there's no constant, and being able to find like a fun way to confront new things rather than being kind of shutting down and being like constantly uneasy that there's nothing standard or consistent. So I think I really grew to love this element of surprise and the unknown. And I saw that frightened other people, and I wanted to create ways for people to embrace it with a sense of joy. I'm a yoga instructor, and I was thinking I probably could give an entirely separate talk on how yoga is a form of play, or how play is yoga embodied in the social sphere. And what I mean specifically is that I think about play, as I was saying, is not just the activity, but it has to like infiltrate your entire way of being. So it's a feeling, it's a way of thinking, it's a way of looking around the world and engaging with it. So I see that practice and this idea that like ultimately for me there's this almost spiritual component of playing, this eventual goal of just connecting with like all the humans in the world. Like if I could connect with everyone, if I could share a moment with everyone, like I'm good. That's good. And I feel like part of the reason that we're all here is to share experiences together. So why not do that? And why not try to do that a lot? And I felt like it should be my job to actually induce those moments for people, because I started doing it and people liked it. So I was like, people want to connect. Well, I'm going to keep doing this because I think that's why we're all here.